It's the end of the day with Ray. Hello, my friends. Well, folks, I'm back here at Impact Studios. Always exciting to be here. Today, I'm sitting here with a new associate at Impact Networking, a leader in the marketing division, a CMO that was recently hired, and her name is Keir. And Keir, it's so great to sit here and talk with you and share some thoughts on marketing with a technology company. But I looked at your resume. It's pretty, well, let's just say outstanding. You had a great career.
Thank you.
Why don't you share a little bit about your background, and then we'll kind of jump into what it's like to be marketing for a multi-deliverable technology company.
Yeah, I love it. Well, and thank you for having me. So 26 years in the technology space, really kind of ranging all realms of the technology space by way of AI, cybersecurity, to managed services, to also software as a service was a big focus of mine for several years at Arrow Electronics. And also that being a deliverable through the channel. So how are we really creating large ecosystems and expanded sales force, expanded marketing teams through partnerships and OEMs, resellers, distributors, and then also too a couple years in the agency space, really helping build communities around thought leadership, helping very large name brands actually be able to go to market in the electronics industry, and really building what I kind of define myself and my expertise around integrated programs that drive revenue and align back to the bottom line for our customers and for our business.
Well, you know, all companies, they have the marketing budget, and sometimes we even wonder where they come up with their budget, but they have a marketing budget and it's the first thing to get cut. When things are bad, so we've all heard that story. But through the evolution of marketing, you know, what do you think has been the biggest change in the last 5 years?
Yeah, and obviously technology that is serving us from a technology stack to be able to really align to what I'd kind of call full funnel marketing. So marketing being responsible not just for bringing interest, prospects, and leads to the table, but also helping qualify those by way of aligning ourselves to the buyer cycle, being in all the channels that our particular target audiences are going to educate, to network, to help identify, I got this problem, now how do I solve that problem? Do other people have my problem? Buyers today, businesses today, they are taking so much more of that initiative to educate and learn before even, you know, having a conversation with a company or organization. And I think that's that fear is that I want to define the right solution for me, not necessarily what's right for the back pocket of a company or a vendor that everyone's going to tell me their solution is the best solution. And so as marketers, we have much more of a complex responsibility, which actually what has made me love marketing and really help better align marketing to be truly a revenue arm of the business versus just a cost center. And so the more we actually are aligning and touching those prospects to those particular leads and to those opportunities, and helping actually from a sales perspective close those by delivering the right sales tools, the right enablement initiatives, and even in the back end, once we've acquired a customer, how do we ensure that customer experience is ideal, and making those customers advocates and evangelists for us, because that essentially benefits us. You know, this full customer life cycle. That's the win-win. That's the goal. Is it's so much more easier, efficient to retain a customer and grow a customer than it is to constantly be acquiring net new customers. And you know, those customers that really feel enabled, they are loyal to your brand, those are your biggest advocates. Those are the ones that are having those conversations with other feather colleagues, really helping say, this is the technology I use and this is how we're growing our business. So it's essentially kind of helping build that word of mouth and just bringing that brand integrity and credibility to the marketplace.
I think a lot of people, they don't understand. First of all, you have to have an intent for the marketing. So what's the real intent there?
Yeah.
A lot of people just spray a bunch of crap out there and hope it works.
Yes.
But I think one of the things that Impact has done with all their different deliverables, whether it's IT or managed services or whatever, they understand the persona of who they're going after. So when you're marketing, how are you defining that marketing going out into the marketplace so you really just attract the persona? Because a lot of folks will say, well, put this on your website and everybody will call you. Well, at the end of the day, you don't want everybody to call you because half of the people that call you won't even qualify to be the customer. So
Yes.
how are you working with Impact to make sure they can keep the persona of the intended buyer, and how does that strategy differ from the spray strategy?
Absolutely, and thank you for asking that. And this is, I think, that second kind of piece to the recipe is that we have to be a cross-functional organization where left hand is talking to right hand. And so those relationships with our service delivery teams, our customer success managers, as well as our sales teams, to really understand that voice of the customer and really identifying who that true ICP is, that ideal customer profile, and then customizing from top to bottom the right message to the right person in the right channel at the right time, and even global companies, as a lot of my background experience, in the right language and the right time zones. It's very complex, but you got 3 seconds to nab interest. Yeah, and if you don't have that right zinger that immediately kind of draws in that eye and that attention, you're dead in the water. And so really having that more prescriptive approach and understanding the marketplace, those that you serve, and really customizing that, in kind of our world, marketing, account-based marketing, that's really the key. That's kind of that ingredient and kind of that collaboration that's needed to be successable.
How do you balance, I think a lot of marketing today is really around thought leadership. One of the things I noticed with Impact, and they do a lot of content, video content, a lot of their leaders are out there talking about stuff. And you just get a sense, man, these people really know what they're talking about. And there's very rarely a call to action. It's really just about thought leadership. How do you, a lot of people are thinking, well, if you don't have a call to action, what are we getting? How do they know to go to Impact or not? But what's the balance between thought leadership content and actual having a call to action marketing, if you will?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this goes back to the buyer cycle, and more of our marketplace and the industry doing more of that education, that research before they're ready to have a sales conversation, to make sure that they truly are aligned to what their pain point is, and that the solutions that they're hovering around are going to solve all of those problems. And so this kind of aligns back to what I kind of say, being that trusted advisor, that how you build that brand credibility and those relationships, that long-term loyalty, is also helping ensure that you're navigating and giving that real-time authentic education and the trust and truth in itself. And so, from a content perspective, from a marketing, really that should be about 70 to 80% of your content strategy, because that's actually how you build that trust in that potential ICP as well as your current customers, knowing that, hey, you're here to support their journey and making them successful, not necessarily what's best for our bottom line. So the smarter the actual customer is, and more you're kind of aligning and making them smarter, that's how you build that one hand to shake, that trusted partnership. And thought leadership, education, that's just a core piece that today's consumers, today's companies, they need. And as we look to also be more data-driven and prescriptive, that's also what our customers are doing as well.
Well, I think a lot of people they think thought leadership is spraying out a bunch of permissions to show up. And, I think we were talking earlier where people will say, well, everybody's going to do that. That's a permission to show up. And I think the thought leadership really needs to be more about their environment, their pain points.
Correct.
And then explain those pain points in detail, and it automatically brings almost an assumption that these folks could solve those pain points because, number one, they understand them, and they're not talking to me about a permission to show up.
Absolutely. Well, and back to the customization too, is that this has to directly align to what their pain points are by industry, even by persona in itself. Every business unit to stakeholder is going to have different perspective, different needs, and so you have to really be able to deliver that speaks to them. And I'd also say from when we talk about, pain point solution problem solving. It's not just about here's the pain point, here's the solution, but you got to go one step deeper into now how does this impact your bottom line too? You know, companies again are wanting to be more prescriptive and wanting to be more data driven, and so the more that we can help share how different technology, different services, different solution sets actually just go right back to their return on investment, that's a huge key that I just don't see, and it's something that even here at Impact, we're even refining some of our narratives and our storytelling to actually give that full closed loop story to say, great, we understand you have many choices in who you partner with, where you invest your dollars, and it's our responsibility as well as our accountability to ensure that you see value in this too. And this is how this will drive value and back to your bottom line.
Well, the industry, especially at Impact, because they made this transition a long time ago, but we're seeing a whole lot more selling of intellect versus selling of infrastructure. And the print industry notoriously, you know, which even was Impact's roots, you know, we're always willing to give up intellect for the infrastructure. So they didn't charge for assessments when they were doing print management contracts and all that. They just kind of forgot about, you know, what it costs for the intellect to actually talk about this or do the investigation, show the customer where the real value is, maybe where it's bringing money back to their P&L, something they didn't think about. So I think that goes well with, you have to have intellect in your marketing as well. You can't just have, you know, sales reps out there doing content that's just not really an Impact brand, if you will, or doesn't really have a purpose. And how do you control that? Because today, I mean, everybody's got a cell phone. So do you control what kind of content the reps put out in the marketplace? Do they have boundaries, if you will, or do you just let them do whatever they want? How does that work?
No, I mean, this is, again, kind of aligning to that buyer's journey and really helping kind of cultivate and build and enable and putting it in the right language that's going to resonate with the customers. And so it is a hand-in-hand exercise with not just our sales leadership, but also our customer success teams too, to really understand, hey, this is the language that we need to speak to them in, this is the intellect that we need to deliver, and this is how we need to package that in the things that resonate with them, because you and I were just talking about this, where the kind of text-based learning and deliverables, people got 3 seconds that they're looking for attention. So as we look to more types of content and assets such as blogs, videos, use cases, that's where we have to be extremely prescriptive and still really kind of keeping that balance of the intellect versus just here's the solution that we're trying to put in front of you and secure investment into.
And obviously you could share the details of the data, like this is what we did on YouTube or whatever it was. And this is kind of how we got our
correct
payback, if you will.
Yes, so, technology, that's what I'm saying, that and marketing, what has helped us really be more full funnel, supporting the full customer life cycle, is all these great tools, including some amazing AI technology that's helping just make our jobs more efficient, more prescriptive, more accurate. That and one of the reasons why I came to AI is to Impact is just really just where we're going with AI, and not just enabling our customers, but also enabling ourselves. I mean, that's how you really assemble and build a marketing machine. Is the tech stack that's going to help support that too. So yes, the data metrics and knowing kind of what brings people in, what engages them, and what helps convert them into loyal customers. That's really key to some of our back end prescriptive strategy.
Well, everybody wants to sell how great their service is, and today I always tell people, and I get a lot of slack for this, but you could be the vendor with the greatest relationships in the world and lose to the innovator that gave a better experience.
Yes.
So great relationships with customers are being disrupted every single day by great experiences, and you have to be able to market the experience.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people are just missing the boat, I think. They're trying to market their services, they're not marketing the experience, and they're marketing those permissions to show up.
Absolutely.
So what was your biggest challenge since you started with Impact? You've been here, how long have you been here now?
Since June 23rd.
So very new, very new.
Yes.
Coming into a pretty dynamic organization with multiple deliverables. So it's not like, hey, we just got to market this little thing. We got this widget we're going to go sell. No, you got to market a whole bunch of different things, and most of it's intellect that's behind the things at the end of the day. So what's been your biggest challenge since you started here?
Yeah. Really, I would say it's the tremendous growth that Impact has had over the last 25, and even more so in my space, the marketing space, the last 3 years. A team of 3 going to 25 to really help support the expanded portfolio and an ever-growing portfolio. I mean, the only constant is change. And so really being able to kind of put that line in the sand to say, great, this is now where we stand up our unified voice and our unified portfolio of offerings to say we are truly, providers of holistic business management solutions, and very quickly identifying that that's where we first needed to kind of put, or at least me, put my first foot in the door, is we got to unify. We got to unify our message, and we need to pivot it more to the narrative of the customer and how we're making heroes of our customers to their customers. And now really kind of then assembling the team that I have to really help ensure that we're meeting all touch points that our target customers to our current customers are going to educate, to navigate, to network, that building that more programmatic omni-channel approach, just so that we can truly serve our organization and our customers, and ensuring, to what we've already talked about, that we're delivering the right message to the right person at the right time. And the other piece to this is also ensuring that me having the honor and the privilege to have a seat at the table at the strategy level with our SLT and our ELT, is that I'm truly seen as a revenue arm to the business. And that's really what Impact has brought me to the table, and my background and my experience is now really kind of setting up direct targets and direct alignment to our sales teams, being that goose to their maverick, and helping really ensure we have accountability and we have a strategy to get to market, and we're really leaning in on the most critical piece, which is customer retention, expansion, customer loyalty, because that's really the make or break of the business.
Well, one of the successes that Impact has, based on, I guess, the attribute to it, is their accountability.
Yes.
You have to have accountability.
Absolutely.
I don't care what part of the business it is. And when you have a marketing strategy, it has to be followed up with accountability. And the better the marketing is, then obviously the better the account executives are going to have better results on the intent of the marketing to begin with. And then the more excited people are for the changes in marketing that are coming, because there will be a lot of changes.
There will. Very exciting changes.
Oh yeah,
And,
AI is extremely interesting in how all this works. And of course, on that customer journey, AI is putting, where are they getting the content from? They're getting the content from people that publish thought leadership. They're getting content from, they could be looking at content from Impact just because they searched for something, they found it through AI. So is there anything you want to add before we end?
I would just say that, as we continue to evolve in this space and continue to align ourselves to the needs of our customers, and even growing the portfolio, that, Impact has a tremendous opportunity to continue to be a leader in this space. And I'm very excited about some of our strategies moving forward with AI, but also to just, where we're going to go in the even expanded service offerings in some of our core areas of cybersecurity and managed IT, that a customer that can have one hand to shake and essentially have that trusted partnership, that's all that we're focused on. That's all that we want to be and all that we want to do. And I think it's a true differentiator for us in the marketplace.
It's been for a long time.
Yes.
They've done a great job at Impact Network.
Yes.
All their leaders are quality people. Welcome to the team.
Thank you.
Close to Impact. They're my friends. I love them. So it's always great to talk to their leaders. Because everybody watching me knows this: status quo is the killer of all to be invented. Don't get stuck there.